get me anything to drink?
Do you want a margarita?
Not really.
What would you like? Old fashioned?
No, like a water or something.
Like a water?
Yeah.
I mean, I got half of a Perrier. It's got some nice bubbles and floaties in there.
Floaties?
This is the behind the scenes part.
Is this what it is? I'm just a little unwell currently, John Murray.
Well, where do you want to start?
Got a second margarita right here.
Yeah, I got another margarita, but he said he doesn't want a margarita.
I thought they both were for Kelly.
I mean, technically, this first one's not going down very well, though. It's been a real struggle.
You had John get 2 drinks for you.
No, I went and got my own 2 drinks and my own Perrier, and he posted the video of me walking to the sportsbook, carrying my Golden Knights jersey and all my other shit down here.
Why did you bring a Golden Knights jersey down?
Because we have to do the video for the Westgate SuperBooks Golden Knights promotion during the playoffs.
$1 wings, $1 beers during the game.
Okay.
So when the game's over, the price goes right back up.
Okay.
To whatever it is. I don't know what it is.
You don't know what the pricing is in your own sportsbook?
For a beer? No. I've never...
I think it's like $5.
I've never had a beer here.
Okay, first of all, that's not true. You literally did a video called 2 beers.
I've never paid for a beer here.
Oh, okay. Never paid for a beer here. Yes, nobody should ever pay for a beer here. They should just simply go up to the counter and ask John Murray for drink tickets.
If they make a bet.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
So we're in the sports book. You guys were right there last night?
No, we're in 3 and 4.
So I heard that you were ruining the game for everybody by looking at like the live score app and then telling everybody what happened before it happened on TV.
No, that
sucks.
No, first and foremost.
That absolutely sucks.
First and foremost, there is always a delay. Whether you have YouTube TV, whether you have satellite, whether you have cable, I don't care.
Yes.
There's a delay. I actually didn't think you guys would be on as big a delay as you guys were here. But there was like a point where it was like 16 seconds left on my phone and 47 seconds left on the TV. So I was just refreshing. I just wanted to get to the finish line.
Why didn't you just keep it to yourself?
I was, and then they were chastising me. So then I was like, well, fuck you guys. I'm going to tell you what happens. Don't worry, he misses his free throw.
Wow.
Like, don't be a dick. Let me be in my own little bubble. I wasn't bothering anybody. And then you wanted to chastise me about doing that.
Do you remember this exchange? So I was sitting at the bar with some of the guys that work for me.
Okay.
And we were having a beer, and then I feel my phone. It's so loud in there. I feel my phone, and I look, and it's you, and I actually answered.
Yeah.
I go, hello. And then you just started rattling off. Brittany's there. Go talk to Brittany. She's over there in the corner. I'm running late. I'm watching the game. And then you go, wait, no, I can't hear you. I'll text you. And I go, I haven't spoken once since I said hello.
I know.
That's why you can't hear me. I didn't say anything.
I know. But all I could hear was everybody talking behind you.
I didn't say a word. I was
They were talking to you.
It was so loud.
And
I was just trying to hear.
I felt really bad because I had planned on. It didn't look good at halftime, right? So I was like, all right, I'm not going to.
Well, no, they were only down by 3 at halftime. It was 31-28 at halftime.
Okay,
but then
it didn't look good mid-second half. Early on in the second half, I think they were down 12.
Houston got it as high as 12.
Okay.
And it really did seem like it was over.
So my point is I told Brittany I was on my way.
Yes.
Which quintessentially is not the thing you're supposed to do when you're not actually on your way. But I admit, like, I was making my way.
So you lied to Brittany.
And then I felt bad. She was just sitting there waiting on me because I was like, I'm not leaving the seat now.
Right.
Because now Florida has made this a very interesting game. And if I leave, I'm going to miss something.
Yeah. I mean, you wouldn't want to.
I could have just watched on the score app. So.
Yeah. I guess what's the difference?
Yeah, you're right. I didn't think about that.
So what you had your Florida future.
Okay.
And you feel like, is this fair to say? You're unhappy with how much you ended up winning? Is that, or what would you say? How would you say it?
Unhappy is a funny word. I wouldn't say unhappy, but like when I woke up to the comment section being like, what happened to hedging is for pussies, KIV? And I'm like, listen, me not hedging a third leg during the second half of a 3-team moneyline $100 parlay and a team that's up big and winning is not the same as me knowing ahead of time in a coin flip type situation where I have 47,000 on one side and 2250 on the other. That's pretty lopsided, I'd say.
Yeah.
In a game where I, talked to Hakeem Profit before. I was like, it's going to be Houston first half, Florida second half. We sat right there. He's like, all right, you're going to bet Houston first half? And I was like, I feel like I don't need to like have any more action in this game. I did bet Florida second half. That was nice. The reality is, it's never enough.
No.
It's never enough.
You were.
I could have won $47,000 yesterday, and I probably still wouldn't have been happy. If you really, that's the problem. Like there was this.
What's the matter with you?
There's this podcast.
Do you think you have a part in you that's broken?
Yes, it's called Being a Woman. There was this podcast I sent to the group the other day with Brett, CT, and Ariel, and it was like two guys, and they played some clip for this woman, and she's like outraged, and it's like women are never going to be happy enough, and it like made me laugh, and like if you're a woman who is not insecure in who you are and what you want, you're like, well, that's kind of true.
Do you think you were too much of a roller coaster this weekend for the rest of us?
A roller coaster? I didn't barely do anything yesterday.
You were so emotional all the whole weekend.
I just got here yesterday morning.
No, I'm talking about going back to Saturday via text.
I don't recall being emotional. Sorry.
I thought you were kind of on a riding a wave. I felt. No? Okay. I was worried about you. You were doing a lot of. We should have done this after the fact kind of stuff.
Okay, so here's what happened.
That was a big
Here's
thing
what happened.
with you.
So Florida's down at halftime to Auburn, and I told my neighbors who are Gator fans, if they're down, like I'm having people at my house, I'm probably gonna go to your house. Okay? So you
invited yourself over to these kids' houses? That sucks.
Kids. Yes, I invited. They were gone. Their nanny was home with their kids. Okay. And I knock on the door, open the door code, and I'm like, hey, Jordan, I'm coming over to watch the game. She's like, okay. And they're upstairs, like, it's, late on the East Coast, so the kids are getting ready for bed.
True.
And as soon as I sat on their couch, Florida went on a 9-0 run. So, like, I was feeling...
I'm sure the two things are related.
Yes, there was. So I'm pretty sure if you just look at it like this, I'm sitting there on their couch, then I'm having like a serious conversation with a 21-year-old woman asking me for some advice. And at that time, I texted you guys prior, what do you guys want to do with the Houston ticket? That Houston future was not like my main priority.
Hold on.
I'm not trying to blame you guys.
That timeline's not really right. You told us on this show that
do whatever you guys want.
No, that you didn't want to do anything until after you saw the result of the Florida game. You said that on this show.
I said selfishly, but I said, and then I texted that morning, I said, you guys can do whatever you want. That was all.
If you did say that, I don't remember.
But there was. I'll send John the screenshot so he can put it in the comment section.
No, I believe you. I don't recall. I thought we all agreed to wait until the Florida game was over.
And maybe we did, but
because the equity of your Florida ticket was so great.
My biggest thing was I wasn't like fully present to be like, hey, what are we doing to remind you guys again? Right. And obviously you were at work, and
I was. But to your point, I was totally okay with letting it go because I thought Houston was going to lose. So,
they sure looked like they were going to lose for a better part of that game.
So I didn't push for it whatsoever. So I'll admit that because I still don't understand how Duke lost that game. I think if Duke had won, I think they would have beat Florida by double digits. And I have no idea how they lost to Houston.
Wow.
Well,
they didn't score for over 10 minutes.
They only made one field goal the last 10 and a half minutes of the game.
Yeah, Mitch Moss did text me this morning. He's like, are you having any post-hedge regrets this morning? And I wrote back, always. Like, of course, after the fact, it's so easy to say that. And just like I told the guys that were, telling me all the things on the internet this morning, how stupid I was, it's really easy to wake up the next morning and say, damn, I should have done something different. But if you just look at the box score of that game, I mean, obviously, we both watched it. Florida led by 1 minute and 3 seconds. That entire game.
Well, how much did Houston lead against Duke on Saturday?
Basically, same.
It's just it was crazy.
Not even what?
Crazy weekend.
Half that.
And I thought we did the 10-cent split here. We were minus 105 both ways, and we did a 10-cent money line. So I felt like this was the place that everybody was coming to hedge their futures.
Well, I think that's what you kind of invited.
Of course we did. No, and we actually ended up. I was pretty happy with what we won overall in the game.
I mean, I saved over $1,000 by 5 cents. Yeah, plus one minus 105 is 1,000. I bet 21,000 to win 20 instead of 22,000 to win 20.
Yeah,
that's it.
No, it's very significant.
That's $1,000 extra I got to put in my pocket yesterday.
That's true. Well, I think what you got to do is.
Or let me rephrase it. That got taken back out of my pocket because that actually lost. So it was $1,000 less that got taken out of my pocket.
So $1,000 that you still have.
Yes.
But I think the worst thing you can do, and I obviously the people on Twitter are always going to troll you, but the worst thing you can do is like be upset after the fact, after you've seen what happened, and say, "Oh, I shouldn't do that now that it's over."
Are you kidding me? And then
You can't-
Mitch and I went
you
on
can't
to
live like that.
I didn't get to talk to Mitch because he had a curfew last night, rightfully so.
Mitch was a little stressed last night.
Yeah, but I was having a great time. I watched the game with a couple people had Florida bets, a couple people had Houston bets, and I got to really enjoy what I thought was a pretty good basketball game outside of tons of air balls, missed dunks, missed layups. Like
The first half was pretty bad.
It was pretty brutal there, but the reality was it was a good national championship game. There was no blowout. It was tight. It could have went either way down the stretch. And I told Mitch this morning, we would have been in absolute utter hell. You would have been on down 12. You would have been in the deepest depths of gambling hell. And then the last 45 seconds, what you would have aged 5 years. I would have. I feel like I already aged 5 years just from being in Vegas one day.
You just can't do that to yourself. You can't think like that after the game is over.
I agree.
And we get enough of that here from. I'll tell you who the king of that is. Your buddy Ed Salmons.
Why is Ed the king of it?
He's the king of because he's off on Thursdays.
Okay.
So he always watches how we book the Thursday NFL games, and then he'll come in on Friday morning and be like, "Oh, you should have done this," and I'm like, "Well, shit, Ed. Yeah, now that the game's over."
So he's like, you would call him a Friday morning quarterback.
So we had that's good. We had a Thursday night game. I think it was like week 2 or 3. It was Bills Dolphins. And the Bills were a small dog in Miami. And I like the Bills. The guys like the Bills. And then we got some of our really sharp accounts on the Bills. So I tell the guys, keep this high. Win on the Bills. I get back from a meeting. It's like 15 minutes till the game starts. And I looked in there and it was like, whoa, this is too much. Because it was just a Thursday night game. We can't go too crazy.
Well, because you set yourself up for liability for the rest of the weekend.
It was a bit too much, and I talked to the night guys. They agreed with me. That was probably a little too high. So at the end, we sold some back, and we ended up winning a good number, but we did sell some back at the end. Buffalo blows them out. Ed comes in Friday morning. Why'd you guys take those bets at the end? You sold it off. I go, Ed, now that the game is over.
Does he have to sit in these heinous executive meetings when you get your asses chewed for not selling it off?
But my point is, like, you can't say what we should have done when it's over. By that logic, Kelly, why didn't we short the stock market last week before Trump announced the tariffs?
I thought about it.
Oh, you did?
I did.
Okay.
I really did. I had it on my to-do list.
Oh, yeah.
And I really fucked that one up.
It was on my to-do list too. Yeah. No, I mean,
I did buy stocks yesterday morning when I landed in Vegas. That was like, I bought some oil stocks. I feel like that was kind of smart.
I bought some stuff on Friday. I think we're going to be fine, but I just think it's stupid to go through your life like, oh, we should have done this or that. You can't think like that.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I think we're saying the same thing here.
Not really. That's not at all what you were saying on Saturday and Sunday.
I was being facetious.
All right, so
you can't get greedy. What do they say? I actually told JH, we were sitting in the book, and I said, you know what, Florida's going to win this game if I hedge, and if I don't, they're going to get their asses kicked. And that's exactly what happened. But you can't go off a one-game sample size when you're basically guaranteeing yourself. And I did save $7,000 worth of liability on Florida.
How's that?
Because I only hedged the 40-1 ticket, not the 7-1, or Chris Thurston's baby's ticket at.
So who gets that money? Chris Thurston's baby.
So here's what I suggested. So I texted his wife and I said, "Congratulations." She had Houston in the Splash Sports our pool, and our contest, and she was a little disappointed in that. And then obviously Chris had his Houston future that he didn't hedge. So she's like, "Oh, great, he's gonna be in a bad mood." And I said, "But that's okay. We're going to pay for Baby Cole's college fund. I can't wait for him to go to UF." And I said the Gator symbol. And then Ariel was in the chat, and she was laughing. And I go, I think it'd just be really full circle. And, like, I pay for this kid to go to college. Because in Florida, they have different funds that you can put your money in when they're born. Mm-hmm. And obviously it grows exponentially over the next 18 years. And then there's certain matches, like your employer can match or the state will match depending on all sorts of different things. And I was like, I think if you put in, right now there's so he won $2,000, but I think if you put in 5,000, it basically grows enough to pay for college. Like if you put it in like the day they're born. It's like some weird thing.
What?
I got to look into a little bit more. I sent her the link, but I had heard about it because obviously Brett's got nieces and nephews and stuff. And I'm like, hey, maybe we should do something like this or start to contribute and then ask other families members to contribute because like kids don't need any more fucking toys. Like every kid has like a bazillion toys, but to give them the gift of a college education Anyway, so, but then Amanda's like, wait, then he has to go to school in Florida. And I go, that's the thing. Now I get to troll your husband in 18 years from now about your kid. Yeah, like that's the stipulation. He has to go to school in Florida.
So part of the deal is they have to go to school in the state of Florida.
It is a state of Florida thing. Because you know how they did
Any school or a state school?
I think
Can they go to a private university?
I think so. But I need to look into it. But like, remember how they used to do the Millennium Scholarship here in Nevada?
Yeah.
Same thing, basically, except for it's not a scholarship. It's basically, it's, from what I understand, it's like a college savings account, but it produces some pretty good returns.
So Amanda almost won Splash Sports Survivor.
She did. Ariel took home a piece of the pie.
How many
She had
people split it?
16, I believe.
Oh, that's it?
I think.
Oh.
Yeah, Chris won he posted this morning. I think he won 15 dimes in all 3 of our contests. So that we were promoting the Millions, we were promoting the original Kelly and Murray, and then we also promoted the Revival.
Yeah.
And he cashed in all 3 of them.
So tell me about, there's a Splash, because I want to talk about the Masters.
Yeah.
There's a Splash Sports Masters pool.
There is.
And who's putting that on, and how does it work?
Hold on. I'm going to get you the exact things. So
I need the exact
Rick Rungood is golf guy.
Yep.
So he does a lot of stuff with them. He's a commissioner. Pam and I did a Masters pool last year, and I think I just don't have the big golf following. So I told him this year,
Why do you think that is? What does your following follow?
College football, college basketball,
College
NFL.
football, college basketball.
So anyway, they're doing, Rick Rungood and John Daly have teamed up. They're doing a $350,000 guaranteed. It's called the Augusta Showdown. So it's win a free round of golf with John Daly and Rick. So that's kind of cool to go play a round of golf with them.
There's no prize money?
Yeah, $350,000.
Oh.
But this is actually tiers. So this isn't a survivor necessarily. You're going to pick essentially 8 golfers, and your top 7 will count towards your score. Each golfer that accumulates fantasy points for their performance / score on each hole. Golfers get awarded a penalty if they miss the cut, things like that. So it's kind of hard for me, but I think it's very exciting. $350,000.
Do you think we should do a pool? I got our producer, Johnny's back there. Johnny, should we do a pool where the winner gets a round of golf with Kelly? Ah, there you go. Kelly? No?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess it would just depend on how much fun I am to play golf with. I'm not sure. Sometimes if I'm playing a good round, I'm pretty fun to play with. I guess if you're into shotgunning beers and talking a lot of shit and having a good time. But if you want to play a serious round of golf, you don't want to play golf with me. I'm not any good. You gotta be good.
No.
Like John Daly, you get both. He's gonna smoke cigarettes, rip some Red Bull vodkas, drop some F-bombs.
Probably hit a 380-yard drive.
Exactly. I can't do all of those things.
No, but you can do the first 2.
I can do a couple of those things.
You can do the first 2.
Sometimes. So we'll see.
Do you want to go through some Masters stuff? Have you made any bets?
So Jeff Sherman actually was the first text message I woke up to this morning.
Do you think Jeff is getting his picks from Wes Reynolds, or how do you think that works? Because I got Wes's picks here. You know, I love Wes.
You have Wes's picks, okay.
And I think that there's some crossover. So who's copying who?
All I know is at 7:15. Oh boy.
Second margarita.
God, I don't know if I can do it. I gotta go to dinner in
4.5 hours.
I'm just tired, you guys.
Yeah.
I'm old. This is hard for me. I can't believe I have to be here for 3.5 more days. I think I'm gonna fly home on Thursday. I think I should fly home Thursday. I think there's no point for me to stay till Friday. Why do I need to be here this long?
I don't know. I didn't book your flights. I have no idea.
I don't know what the fuck I was thinking.
Well, tell me Jeff's picks. I want to see if there's any crossover between Jeff and Wes.
Justin Thomas.
Wes has Justin Thomas.
32-1.
Wes has Thomas.
Shane Lowry.
No.
45-1.
No.
I think it's Robert, but Henley. 6-1. 60-1.
Russell
Henley. 60-1.
Okay.
Robert McIntyre.
Wes has Robert McIntyre.
63-1. Jared Neiman.
I think it's Joaquin.
Oh.
I don't know.
Oh, Jared Neiman's a country singer.
I don't even know if I'm pronouncing that right, in fairness.
Joaquin Neiman, yeah, something like
Joaquin
that.
Neiman.
Yeah, you're right. Sorry. That's funny.
I believe he's Chilean.
That is a country singer. I knew that. Okay, 65-1. Victor Hovland, 70-1.
Okay.
Bhatia, 92-1.
Yeah.
Detry, 250-1. And Hojgaard, 300-1.
So I already complained about Ed Salmons and his Friday morning quarterbacking. By the way, I'm going to start using that next season
You're
as
welcome.
a joke. But I'm going
John Hoagland, can I have that napkin that I just got margarita all over myself?
She just spilled.
You gave me a very full margarita without the cocktail napkin. No, thank you.
I want to complain about Jeff.
Hold on, you can complain about Jeff after I'm not a sticky mess.
Because whenever you ask Jeff like what he likes, he gives you the picks at the numbers he bet them at.
Correct, that's what he gave me, and
But
they're
the
no
numbers
longer.
are all gone.
I knew those were gone.
So it's like Jay always.
Thanks for the 60-1 that's now 42-1.
Jay Cornegay always jokes about we'll ask Jeff on a Sunday during NFL, what'd you bet today? It's like, I like Packers +7. It's like, okay, well it's 2 now. So what should I do? Like, how does that help?
That's like how Brett does. He'll be like, oh yeah, me and this guy, he's got a couple good golf guys that he works with. Me and this guy bet him at 42-1, but you can't bet it now because it's 28-1, and it's like, why the fuck are you even talking to me?
Jeff does that.
Why?
Jeff's big on that.
Just don't tell me that if it's no longer playable. Why are you talking about it? Is it like a humble brag? You make fun of me about humble bragging. What the fuck is that?
That's what I just said. I'm making fun of Jeff. Okay. I agree with you. You're totally right. You're not the only one I make fun of. All right. Three matchups, Kelly. It's difficult.
Our producer is zinning it out over there mid-show. Would you say nicotine use is an addiction?
Don't worry about the kid. 3 matchups that we got hit on this week. You mentioned Hovland. They played him +115 against Spieth.
Hold, please.
What? What's she doing?
I'm texting these pics to myself.
I wrote them down. You can have this piece of paper.
No, but I need to do it right now.
They played Adam Scott +130 against Sergio Garcia. And they played Bryson DeChambeau -130 against Neiman. I don't know if those moved a lot. If they did, then I'd be a big hypocrite because I just complained about that.
Okay.
I don't know. But I'm going to back my guy Wes. I think I'm going to bet Justin Thomas. I like Justin. I've always been a fan of Justin Thomas anyway. So I'll go JT. You going to bet anybody to win?
So I said before the show I was done gambling till football season.
And I called you a liar right when you said that.
I cashed out all my accounts today and paid off all my debts and got my life in order, and so I felt really good about myself.
Do you consider your life to be in order right now?
I mean, yeah.
Okay.
I feel really good. I had the craziest 2 college seasons I've ever had. I had a
Why is that?
fucking garbage college football season. No dogs won outright. And then my team and I drafted Notre Dame and the Calcutta, even though I wanted Ohio State. And I had my future on Ohio State after they lost to Michigan State, and those 2 met in the national championship game. And that money basically was enough to get me profitable for college football season.
That's good.
And then I had a pretty garbage regular season college basketball. I had a really good week the week I was on the cruise, which was wonderful. But outside of that, not great. And then I had both teams in the national championship to guarantee myself enough money to basically break even on the season. And I feel like I just need to just start with a clean slate for next college football season. I don't need to be betting daily baseball or the NBA playoffs unless I find something, of course, that I really find some true value in. The degen shit of oh yeah, I'm finding value because the Mariners and Mets are on TV. He's freezing her ass off. It looks miserable. Why would you bet this game?
Let's talk a little bit about that because I do think the number one thing, because all your fans are all tweeting at you about hedging. I think they called you a pussy. Is that what you said?
I don't know. Those guys definitely probably are not my fans. But they are correct. I did say in 2013, I'm not hedging. But again, they wanted me to hedge the second half of an Oregon State game versus USC. I'm not going to do that.
The number one thing you've got to ask yourself when you're going to hedge, or if you're going to hedge, how badly do I need this money? If you don't need the money at all, then why would you hedge?
Oh, I guarantee
but
if I still had a very high-paying job like I did a couple of years ago, I would have just let it ride.
Okay.
And then I would have still been mad at myself.
Yeah.
If it lost, but not near as much. I guaranteed myself almost $27,000. That's pretty fucking good, and not a lot to complain about.
No, that's great. I think you have to ask yourself, how much do I need this? Can I afford to make nothing out of this bet? And if the answer to that is no, then you have to do something.
Correct.
I think you'd be crazy to just say, I'm just going to hope I win.
I mean, there was a part where I told JH the game was going to land 1.
JH, Johnny Hoagland,
I said the game's going to land 1 or something crazy, right? And
if Florida had won by exactly 1, I would have been sour last night.
I would have been. I don't know if I would have been ecstatic because I would have sided the game, or if I would have been pissed that 1.5 was on the table on Sunday and I didn't take it. And then I could have won both bets. I would have lost my mind.
I feel like you've learned nothing from the first segment of the show, which is you just have to make your decision and just live with it.
Yeah, I did. And there was a really good shot there at the end that the game could have landed 1, which is
I
why
know
I
that.
was frantically scrolling just so that I had the outcome before everybody else did.
Why'd you have to ruin it for everybody else?
Because they were patronizing me. If they would have just sat there and let me be in peace by myself. He's over here recording me fixing the scroll, and like Marco's talking shit in the background. I'm like, he missed this free throw. Like, don't patronize me if you don't want me to like fight back, because that's what's gonna happen.
Marco D'Angelo.
Yes.
Was he on Houston?
No, he was on Florida -1.
Okay.
So he was very happy the game didn't land 1, of course.
Oh. That would have been terrible.
Yeah,
Kelly is returning to Florida on either Thursday or Friday.
maybe Wednesday.
UFC
We'll see.
314 is on Saturday night in Miami. You still haven't thanked me and John for that UFC winner we gave you this past Saturday.
I literally did last call on WagerTalk with VR,
Yeah?
and it was his 5% play.
Really?
And I texted to you, motherfuckers.
You did?
Yes, I did, and the other
John.
one, and the Emmett one, plus 260.
That lost.
By like 3 votes.
3 votes?
No, like 3 points on the scorecard.
So all 3 judges voted for the other guy? Is that what you're saying?
I gotta look at the scorecard again, but it was unanimous. But it was like 1 point here, 1 point, whatever.
Right. Only 3 people thought he lost. Just the 3 people, the only 3 that matter. I think I didn't see that fight. I did read I did actually read it was really close.
You know what was
I
funny?
did read that, but I was watching the
texted
Duke game.
JH, I was going to bed, and I turned off Duke Houston because I was like, well, this is over.
Yeah.
And I was like following along with the fight, half one-eyed. I fell asleep, and my body like shot me up like I was possessed. I was like, get the fuck up. Houston's about to win this basketball game. It was wild. Out of a dead sleep. Dead on sleep.
We haven't had any bets yet on UFC 314 from our sharpest customer, but I know that.
If he's so sharp, why do you keep letting him bet here?
Well, you want that kind of information. You just got to need to win on their side, and we don't. And we've asked him not to bet at the last moment, which he doesn't. So you can work with a sharp player as long as they play by the rules.
So how come other books don't do this?
A lot of books do.
I know Circa does.
But the problem is
a lot of books.
But the problem is like the relationship. A lot of the burden is on the customer to do the right things. Because
Can you tell me what those right things are?
Well, like I just said, don't bet it at the last second. Don't bet something when we have a backwards number. You know, people do that.
What's a backwards number?
Like our guy accidentally
you have it mispriced?
Our guy accidentally put in +4 when he meant to put in -4.
Okay, got it.
And
so it's a mistake, like an actual mistake in the
pricing. A lot of these people on Twitter that complain about their limits being cut, and then I look into who the person is, and I look at their account, and I'm like, that guy's a complete asshole. He bet a backwards number. That's why his limits are there. You know, that kind of stuff is going to get you in the doghouse.
Okay.
And rightfully so, I think. No?
I don't disagree with you. I have texted a couple different people and been like, I'm pretty sure this is priced wrong.
Oh,
a couple different shops.
Like I've gotten messages from people that I respect that have accounts here saying, you need to take a look at this. I think this is wrong. Because people make mistakes, you know?
Yeah, all the time.
It's no big deal.
Yeah, but I think people looking to take advantage and then they get mad that the bet gets canceled. It's like, then they go to gaming and they fucking cry about it.
Yeah, that's happened before.
Yeah.
Do you want to do... Anyways, Sean Woodson is the only guy so far that we've seen really sharp money on, really steaming. Sean Woodson, UFC 314. And then my favorite fighter, a huge Liverpool fan like myself.
He's very hard to understand.
Well, he's from Liverpool.
Yeah.
That's the Scouser accent.
So I'm sad that I'm not going to Liverpool now because you're not coming to Ireland with me and Aunt Helen. I don't know if Ariel's coming.
Oh, you don't know if Ariel's coming?
Well, yeah, because it's MLB season. It's really kind of hard to get away, you know. She's got a lot of stuff going on, and she's like, hey, I can't commit this as of this day, go ahead and book your flights, and if I can tag along later, I'll be there. So now I have 2 extra tickets to the K-State Iowa State game. Maybe that's what I should say. Is like if you buy your own airfare and get your own hotel room, you can watch the K-State Iowa State game with me. We have front row tickets on the 50-yard line, Aunt Helen said.
Really?
That's what I was told.
What do you want to do? Do you want to talk about the real reason you're here is to make these videos announcing our football contests?
You know, I should have just done it at home with a blue screen. I feel like I'm not paid enough to be here. Okay, so yeah, let's talk about all.
I'm looking at the producer, not you.
Let's
I got
Did
money
you come up with names so that I actually have names?
I got money on the 10th race at Keenan.
I know you did. I watched you do it over your shoulder, and then you got mad that you were like, "Can I just bet in peace?" And I was like, "Seems very degenerate that you just randomly bet a horse race that you know nothing about."
Can I bet the ponies in peace, please? Anyways,
did you come up with a name for your?
I don't think we totally agreed to the name, but
I think from a branding
what do
perspective,
you think the college football contest should be called?
as the marketing executive in the room right now, that's me.
John
Is not. He's the social media executive.
Okay.
You're the sports executive. I'm the one with the piece of paper that says I'm a fucking genius in marketing from Kansas State University.
Go on.
That's why I'm here.
Okay.
I think you have to keep the branding the same across the board.
So it should be like Super Contest Survivor,
Yes.
Super Contest College, or what? What do you call the college one?
I definitely think it has to be the Super Contest
Is it
college
Super Contest?
Yes. The college Super
I'm
Contest.
asking.
Yeah, the college Super Contest. I like that.
You know, for the marketing person, you're not really giving me much
No,
feedback.
I just told you have to keep the branding synonymous with the Super. The Super Contest is the brand at
Yes.
the SuperBook.
Yes.
So all the contests need the word
Super
Super
Contest.
Contest in it.
I agree with that.
So Super Contest Survivor, Super Contest Survivor Gold, Super Contest Gold, and then you could call it the Super Contest College Edition.
Kelly's going to make videos about all this stuff. They're going to be flashy. She's going to look tremendous. But
My SuperBook hoodie.
the pertinent details are the Super Contest Survivor, name to be determined, is a $5,000 buy-in. 18 weeks, pick a winner, no spread, obviously. Straight up winner, can't use a team twice. 18 weeks, you can have up to 10 entries.
Okay.
The college contest, 14 weeks, 7 games a week against the spread, $500 buy-in, up to 10 entries. And we're taking the Super Contest back up to $1,500. Trying to get more money into the pool. We're going back to $1,500, and we'll let you do 10 entries.
Okay.
And the format's exactly the same as it was with the
Love it.
in-season contest
So
and so on.
You mentioned bringing back the mini contests
Well, we talked about that, but we already have a 3-week contest
at the end.
within.
But shouldn't we
This-
make it worth more money maybe? Because those 3 weeks are really freaking hard.
So maybe we take, when we do the pay table, we take weeks 16, 17, and 18, and it pays a little bit extra.
Or maybe you guys make it a guaranteed 20 grand. Whoever has, if you go 15 and 0. If you
go 15 and 0.
if you like make it like a fun bonus, because I went 15 and 0 and I won 15 grand.
You went 15 and 0 when you won?
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah,
Is that
it was-
true?
It's fucking nuts.
No way.
Best 3 weeks of NFL in my
You went
life.
15 and 0.
And guess what? That was in 2014, and it hasn't happened since.
Well, no, I wouldn't think it would.
But I think like if it's like a bonus, like if you know like how when Derek did the Circus Survivor, if you didn't use the Super Bowl winner that one year, you got the bonus.
Yeah, I like that.
And then they took that away. But I think the interesting thing is if you guys did like if you go 15 and 0 the last 3 weeks of the contest, you guys throw a $20,000 bonus in there,
Okay.
right? As like your own, hey, we fucking love you guys.
I do love the contest participants.
Yeah.
That is a fact.
Give it something fun, because your big thing is that as someone who owned a proxy service for a long time, you have a lot of people start to quit. And when you have those quarterlies or you have those bonuses, that kind of keeps people interested. At least they may quit weeks, 12 through 14, and then all of a sudden they're like, shit, I got to
You come back when there's another in-season thing starting.
Correct.
It's like this week doesn't really matter, but next week something else starts.
Yeah, so if you have, like I said, an existential bonus that maybe you're ponying up for just for fun. Again, maybe.
Why don't you put up the 20 out of your own personal funds?
I'm sorry, I don't own a major casino in Las Vegas.
Do you want to do the mailbag? Do you have the questions?
I do. T.S. Finke on X says, is it time to panic on any MLB teams that have started slow? And this is the only question I saw preemptively, and I immediately sent it to Chris Thurston and Ariel Epstein. And Chris wrote back in all capital letters, the Reds. I'm going to send John Murray a hat.
The Reds won last night.
Oh, great. So they've now got 3 wins on the season?
They're 4-7.
Oh, I'm sorry. 4 wins.
No, I think the one team that I would be panicking about a little bit is the Braves, because they not only did they start 0-7, but they've also had a few injuries.
Oof.
So the Braves, but I still would argue it's too early to panic about any baseball team.
That's how you know you're old.
Although
you
I'm
get
not
stuck.
super happy with the Nationals. Oh, the Nationals won yesterday too, so they're 4-6.
Oh, there you go. I'm so happy for you.
No, it's too early to panic too much about baseball.
Okay, Civil_Capper on X says, what is your best bet for a top 5 and top 10 Masters finish?
Well, I got to go with my guy Wes, right? I mean, I guess Justin Thomas.
Like, are we not taking any live players here? Are we not looking at like?
He's got John Rahm.
Oh, John Rahm. You didn't say John Rahm.
No,
You did not say John Rahm earlier.
No, all I did was I mentioned which ones Jeff copied Wes on. I didn't read all of Wes's.
Well, then can we?
I've already offered you that.
Oh my God, you guys! He didn't even give you the other plays.
I offered you that piece of paper.
Your handwriting is fucking heinous.
Plus, I texted you all those names.
John Rahm.
Yes, I texted it to you.
When did you text me this?
Maybe I texted it to another group.
Yeah, you didn't fucking text me this. Morikawa.
Yes.
Justin Thomas, Patrick Cantley. I'm gonna go ahead and guess that says Minwoo Lee.
It is Minwoo Lee.
McIntyre and Reed.
I've never heard of McIntyre. Reed is Patrick Reed.
It literally says McIntyre.
I've never heard of him.
Oh.
I just don't know who that is. No, it's McIntyre. I don't know who that is.
Okay.
That's
Anyway.
nice.
So what is your best bet for a top 5 and top 10, John Murray?
I don't know what the prices are, but I'll say Justin Thomas. I'm going down with Wes, man. That's my guy.
David with all of the fucking numbers behind his name.
What's your pick?
I have not watched one single golf event. I didn't even go to Valspar this year.
Really?
I normally just go to Valspar. I didn't even go this year.
All right, next question.
All right, congrats, Cal. But what happened to your beloved Big Ten? I'm not at my beloved Big Ten. David, CH48164279. I don't fucking know. I went to Kansas State. We're in the Big 12. Anyway, that's right. They were knocked out by the SEC's Auburn Tigers. What? So top 2 teams in the country are SEC. John tried to tell you. What? No, the top 2 teams in the country were the Houston Cougars from the Big 12 and the Florida Gators, who almost lost to said Houston Cougars from the SEC. What am I missing here?
I would say the best team in the country was definitely Duke.
Okay, well, guess what? They weren't.
No,
so.
they didn't win. No, I agree, and that's all that matters. But I don't. You know what? I actually thought of this the other day. I meant to tell you. You always say that the SEC people are the only ones that like take pride in their conference and cheer for the other teams. I have to disagree with that because hear me out because I grew up. You know this. My dad went to Georgetown. Me and my brother are huge Georgetown fans. And when I went to West Virginia University, they were in the Big East too.
Was your dad disappointed that you went to WVU and not Georgetown?
I wasn't smart enough to get into Georgetown.
I know. That's why I just asked. Was he disappointed?
He would say that he wouldn't have been able to get into Georgetown with the standards then. Okay. Anyways.
Okay. So he would enable you to be
what I am. So I'm a Big East guy.
Okay.
And with the realignment brought on by football, Big East football obviously went away. The Big East changed a lot. UConn left for a while. They came back. Syracuse is gone. I absolutely root for the other Big East teams in March Madness.
Okay, well, I don't root for the other Big 12 teams because I don't give a shit.
But I'm saying that
otherwise I would have bet more money on Houston yesterday.
You said nobody other than SEC people do that. I do that. I personally do that with Big East basketball.
Okay, but I've never seen you go to a basketball game and chant Big East, Big East, Big East.
Well, I don't go to a basketball game and chant anything. I'm not insane.
Yeah, well, these fucking losers do. They chant SEC. It's mind-boggling.
Actually, I have chanted USA before. I've done that.
I do love chanting USA.
Okay, so
Wise Guy Wager on X says, with the transfer portals and NIL dominating college sports, basically free agency every day of the year, What would KIV and JM do to organize and make a playing field more fair for teams and coaches? I really did. I brought this up with Clay Clay brought it up with me the other day, and I thought it was really interesting. The Grambling coach said this, like, hey, there should be protocols in place. There should be some sort of regulation in the place that says, okay, here's this guy's buyout for his contract, right? They do it with coaches.
For the players?
Yeah.
I like that idea, but I think that's a good idea. But I think the other idea they have to implement, and I can't believe they haven't done it yet, it's got to be a contract.
Yes,
it's like
an
if we're going to pay you $8 million,
you have to stay here.
You got to be here for 3 seasons. So whatever you want it to be.
Why can't they do that?
I don't know.
Is the NCAA not allowing it?
I mean, for these guys to just go year to year.
Look what the kid just did at KU. Said, "Oh, I'm leaving," and KU doubles his NIL, and he's like, "Okay, never mind, I'm staying." It's like it'd be like me being like, pretending like, hey, FanDuel just called me. John, I need you to double my Westgate salary. Oh, you're not going to do that? Okay, fine. Oh, wait, you will? All right, I'll stay.
I mean,
what?
It needs to become more organized. It went like from 0 to 60 too fast.
Because that's what the NCAA wants. They want
really
chaos.
knows what's going on.
They want the Wild Wild West because they never wanted this to begin with. So they want a bunch of insanity so that people can look back and say, oh, well, you guys are right. We should never pay these guys. They're ruining college athletics.
I don't know if they're ruining it, but it needs more organization. And I like that buyout idea. That's a good idea.
So
I think contracts are a must.
I know nothing about this, but the other thing Clay suggested
that's never stopped you.
Was soccer. Apparently, if you move up in a league in soccer, there has to be money paid to the lesser team. Like if you have an 18-year-old kid who is being, this is the wrong word, so I got to think of a different word, but like trained, groomed.
They get sold.
Yeah, they get
the bigger clubs buy players.
Right.
Well, they all buy players.
And that's what Duke did this year. That's what Florida did this year. That's what Houston did. And they're all buying players, right? So the reality is that some coach, whether it was 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, developed and trained these players.
Oh, and the school should be compensated.
The NIL there should be money. Like, okay, for example, Walter Clayton Jr., right? He played for Iona and then they were like, they saw him in March Madness, like, shit, this kid's good. Todd Golden's like, let's bring him to Florida, right?
Yeah.
Iona's NIL fund should get whatever the buyout for Walter Clayton Jr. was. Florida should have to pay for it. Because if you're going to pay to play,
that's how it works in
you should
soccer.
have to, that's what Clay was saying, is that's how it works in soccer.
Like you'll have a club will develop a star, a young player, sell that player to like Real Madrid or Barcelona or occasionally Liverpool, I guess.
And maybe there should be some stipulations, like you can't do it within the conference.
Yeah, but then they take that money. So Barcelona gives this club $60 million for this player, and now that club has $60 million.
Yes.
That they can maybe build a new training center or buy more young players.
Exactly.
That's exactly how it works.
No, and that kind of seems like as it stands today, maybe the correct answer. I don't know if there is a correct answer, if you will, but it's got to be better than what it is. I mean, literally, I text. Let's just say this. I'll be very vague. I texted the coach yesterday.
You texted a basketball coach?
Yes, I texted a basketball coach yesterday. Okay. I said, "What the fuck?" Because I was not happy. And he goes,
"What?"
And you know what he said to me? Kelly, stop getting attached to these players. And I said, "What?" I love the ex-player, and he goes, "Stop it." He said last week he was staying. Now he's gone. Stop. You don't get it. In the NFL, do you get? Look at the Browns fans. They have like 85 different names on the back of the jersey. Yeah. Stop getting attached. Stop buying their jerseys. These kids don't give a shit. They're going after money, and part of me doesn't blame them. Part of me is like, fuck. There's got to be some sort of loyalty, right? But he was right. He was absolutely right. Stop getting. The days of your favorite player remaining loyal to your team in college athletics is over.
Can I still cheer for Mohamed Salah?
Do whatever you want.
I'm going to. Either way, no matter what Kelly said there, I'm still going to love Mo Salah. But he might be gone this season. He might get sold to another team. So you can't.
That sounds insane to say that word, by the way.
Well, that's the team is selling the player to the other club for a dollar amount.
For example,
what word would you use other than sold?
For example,
please.
We're seeing all these people moving in the they enter the transfer portal one day, and then all of a sudden they're already on another team. Like, that's tampering.
Yes.
I'm guessing in soccer, there's a more fluid way of doing things. Hey, this player is worth X number of dollars. We're willing to give him up for $45 million or whatever. That's not what's happening in college athletics. You're not being sold. You're literally being tampered with and going, hey, we can give you $2 million to come to the University of Kansas.
Yeah, well, soccer it's even more complicated because first they got to get the club.
Did you win your Keelan race? I see you watching.
No, they got to take that horse to the glue factory, man.
My horse races at the Meadows on Thursday. We'll have to be here in the book to.
So first they got to negotiate with the club to buy the player. Then they got to negotiate with the player to pay his wages, whatever his weekly wages are. So it's very complicated, and there are windows in which they're allowed to do this, and windows in which they're not.
Yeah, and it shouldn't be during the season.
But you know they're tampering. Of course they are.
Okay.
There's a transfer window in the summer and in January, but you think they're not having these conversations year round?
I get it.
I'm sure they are. I'm sure they are.
That was a
joke.
my 2 cents.
That was a joke about the glue factory. I hope that horse has a nice long life.
Johnny Detroit says that about our harness horse every single week, and I'm like, bro, she was injured, and he's like, yeah. He's like, send her to kids' birthday parties. I'm like,
we're not doing a show next week. Are we going to come back the week after?
why would we? Our contract ends. This is the last show. That's why I'm here.
So we don't have to do any more shows?
I mean, we don't have to contractually.
Oh.
It's Masters.
Oh, great. Oh, I didn't know that.
You didn't know that. See,
Okay.
another guy doesn't read his contract.
No, I didn't. I had no idea. I thought the show I thought it was like a loop of time where I just could never escape it, you know? And it just goes on
It
forever.
is
So it's over.
August to April is our contract. Yeah, I mean, if they want us to do another show, we can do some shows. If they don't, I'm going to ride off into the sunset and go enjoy my summer.
Hopefully we'll do a show maybe in the month of May. But
Maybe.
we will be gone for a couple of weeks. Good?
Kentucky Derby,
Yeah, we could do that.
NBA playoffs. What else we got?
Who cares?
Okay.
NBA playoffs, who cares?
All right. Well, there's your answer, guys.
Okay, that's a show.